Okay, so those people who have joined, okay, can you hear me properly through the Zoom link? Can you hear me properly, everyone? Okay, I see that everyone is saying yes, looks good. Okay, okay, so let's try to understand about uh, okay, fine, looks good. Hmm. Okay, my name is Ankush Thodi. I'm having 13 plus years of experience into the IT industry, and previously I worked with the multiple organizations like Cognizant, Infosys, Wipro, L&T, Infotech. Nowadays, the people are calling it as a LTI Mindtree. I think the LTI has take over the Mindtree company, so it's LTI Mindtree. So throughout my IT career, I got an opportunity to work with the multiple technologies. So I work on database administration, data engineers, cloud. So all these things I have handled throughout my 13 years of careers. And today I am here to talk about a very, very important technology. We called it as a data engineer. So when we talked about the data engineer, before the data engineer, before this data engineer terminologies come into the market, some people were called it as a Hadoop developer, you know. So why this technology is available in the market? Because we have huge amount of data. Okay. Now it is a world of internet. Earlier, we used to see the movies in 3GP format or MP4 format. Nowadays, if you see, every mobile is coming with 4K video. So it is a time of internet where huge amount of data is going is getting generated on daily basis on every second also. Okay, so let me share my screen and we will talk about this. So this is our official website, guys, so by any chance if you have not seen that. Okay, so let me do one thing. Let me share my screen. I'll go to the format background here and let me open this. So we are talking about a data engineering. We are talking about a data engineering technology now. Okay, so previously also the data were there. Okay, it's not like the data was not there previously. So previously when we talked about the data, we already have a system where we are going to store our data. For example, you are talking about databases. So when we already have a database, what are the database we have? For example, when we already have a databases like Oracle is there, MySQL is there, SQL Server is there, PostgreSQL database is there. We already have a databases available. Then why people are talking about the terminologies like Spark, Databricks, Data Factory? So now when we talked about the data is coming with multiple format. Like for example, when we talked about the data, like I am getting a data from multiple sources. Company is saying that I have huge amount of data. But data is not coming with one format, right? So data is also coming with multiple format. So sometimes you will get a structural format. Some of the data you will get it in unstructural format. Some of the data you will get it in semi-structural format. Structural format means any data which can be fit into the rows and column. We call it as a structural data. For example, you are talking about the table. You are talking about table. Now this table related data, which is a structural kind of data, when you have structural kind of data, that structural kind of data you can store it under the database. No problem. I'm already having a database. So if my company is having huge amount of data, and if that data is available in the form of structural means a data which is available in the form of rows and column. For example, I have a data which can be stored like this in the form of rows and column. So let's say this is ID and this is a name. So ID is, let's say, 1 2, the name is Sagar and Chetan. So when you have a data which can be fit into the rows and column, you call it as a structural kind of data, and you can store it under the database only. But every time you will not get structural kind of data. Sometime you may have a data which is available in the semi-structural format also. For example, let's say I have a data which is available in XML, and I have a data which is available in JSON format or in YAML format. Now this data, when you say JSON format, it is basically your key and value. But if you see the JSON, like sometimes you will have nested JSON will be there. If it is a small JSON, then nowadays databases are also supporting JSON format. But if JSON format, if it is a nested, then it is very difficult to store it in the databases also. So this format we call it as a semi-structural format. And sometimes you are getting a data in the form of files. Now that file can be your CSV file, that file can be your in different format files, or let's say you have some log file also which does not have any standard structure, but I have my important data into that file. I have my data which is available in that file, and I want to process that data. So what is the main purpose of data engineer? The main purpose of data engineer to process your huge amount of data. So one thing should be very clear, that when client is saying that I have a huge amount of data and I want to process that huge amount of data, if that data is coming from different format, then only databases cannot process that data, because data is coming with multiple format. And one more thing we need to understand, that when we talked about, okay, when we talked about the data engineers, there is a very famous terminologies you will find, three V's in Hadoop or three V's in data engineer, or what is meant by big data. So basically, we always refer to the terminologies called big data. I have a big data. I have a big data. Big data means any data which is very huge for my laptop or for my server. That is something we call it as a big data. That is a big data for me. That is a big data for me. So whenever you are getting a data, consider example, okay. What is big data? Big data is a problem. It's a problem, na? I am getting huge amount of data. That is a problem. I am getting huge amount of data which cannot be processed by my laptop. That is a big data for me. My laptop can store 1 terabyte of data, 2 terabyte of data, 3 terabyte of data. More than that, whatever comes, that is a big data for me. So they have come up with the one definition, like what is meant by big data. For that, they are using the three V's in big data. Now, what is meant by big data? So first is volume. Volume. Volume means the huge amount of data which is being generated on daily basis. See boss, let's take an example. If daily 10 GB of data is getting generated, that's fine. Daily 100 GB of data is getting produced, that's also okay. But let's say if 100 terabyte of data is getting generated on daily basis, then that is a big volume for me, right? It's a big volume. So I am looking for a system which can, I am looking for a system which can accommodate this amount of volume. Like if I take the example of my laptop can store 2 terabyte of data. And if I'm getting 3 terabyte of data, then that is a big data for me. So which is a problem. It is a problem for me. When I will say that, boss, this is a problem for me, as soon as I get 3 terabyte of data, I'm saying that, boss, this is a problem for me. It's a big volume. When I say 3 V's, among that, the first one is volume. So you take an example of YouTube, right? Do you know that millions of data, millions of videos are daily getting uploaded in YouTube channel? Millions of video, like daily we are also uploading one video, one reel in YouTube channel. Don't you think that the volume is very big? That is a big data. If you take the example of banks are processing millions of transactions on each day. You understand the volume. See, you and the people like you and me, आप जैसे हम लोग जैसे लोग कितने ट्रांजेक्शन करते हैं? Millions of people are there, right? That is a volume. Second big data problem is, which we defined in the terms of we call it as a velocity. Velocity is basically a speed of data generation. How speedily the data is getting generated. How speed the data is getting generated. That is something we call it as a velocity. You take an example of stock market. अब जैसे जो लोग ऑलरेडी वर्किंग है, जिनके पास पैसा है, दे आर इन्वेस्टिंग देयर मनी इनटू द स्टॉक मार्केट. Don't you think that how quickly every second that flow chart is moving from here ups and down, ups and down? How many transactions will be happening there, right? Velocity. How quickly the data is getting generated. You consider like that. Okay. How quickly. That is something we call it as a velocity. Credit card. See, how quickly you want to process this data also. See, what is the purpose of, let me tell you one purpose of data engineer. What is the purpose of data engineer? For example, my current location is Pune location. So I'm from Pune location. 2 minutes back, I have done the transaction from Pune location. 2 minutes back, I have done my transaction from Pune location. And after 5 minutes, the same credit card used from USA location. So don't you think that it is a problem? So immediately you will get the call from your bank saying that, are you the authorized person who has done these transactions? Current my location is Pune, and within 5 minutes my transaction is happening from US location, so I'll get a call. Now in this situation, are you going to wait? Are you going to wait for tomorrow? Like tomorrow you'll get the call? No. I want the real time processing. Whenever the credit card you are using, because this is very critical na. So how speedily your data is getting generated. See, every minute the millions of data, the millions of transactions are happening. You take an example of credit card, you take an example of banks. Every second, you understand that. You take an example of stock market. Every second, huge amount of data is getting generated. That is velocity. So whenever you have huge amount of data, whenever you have a data which is getting generated very fastly, that is something we refer called velocity. And whenever you have a variety of data, means, let's say you have a data which is available in the form of XML, in the form of log file, in the form of CSV, in the form of databases. Like you may have data coming from different you may have a data which is coming from different format, and you have a data which is coming from different sources. That is variety of data. So what is big data? Big data is a problem. Remember, when we say that, okay, I got the big data problem, whenever they are following these 3 V's, that is a big data. Now what is the solution? That solution we called it as a, now when we have a problem, we need a solution. So earlier when this technology started, they have given the solution called Hadoop technology. So Hadoop has given you two things. One is a processing part. So whenever you have huge amount of data, and if that data you want to process, So processing will be done by the MapReduce. Earlier it was done by the MapReduce, and for storage purpose they have given you one file system. We call it as a HDFS, Hadoop file system. But Hadoop is an older technology. It has some disadvantages. That is the reason the Hadoop got replaced, not replaced actually, by Spark. Not replaced completely, but I'll tell you the reason behind that. Because Spark is responsible for your processing purpose. I want to process. So earlier processing was done by the MapReduce. Now your data processing will be done by Spark. What about the storage? Spark does not have his own storage. Spark is saying that, boss, if you want to process a huge amount of data, you give me a data, I will process it. But if you want to store, you can use a different storage. Like you can use cloud also, you can use local machine also. If you want to store it on premises, if you want to store it on database, if you want to store it in a Hadoop file system, you can store anywhere. I don't mind. Spark is saying that I am compatible with anyone. So if you are getting a data from different sources also, Spark is very flexible actually. We call it as a Apache Spark. Apache Spark is completely free of cost because that is a Apache product. It's completely free of cost. So what it is saying, if you are getting a data from different sources, like let's say I'm getting a data from databases. Now that database can be anything. It can be Oracle, MySQL, PostgreSQL, anything. Let's say you are getting a data from local file system. Let's say you are getting a data from different file format also. Let's say you are getting CSV file format, JSON file format. Let's say you are getting a data in batch processing, or let's say you are getting a data in real-time processing. Everything will be processed by Apache Spark. Apache Spark will process whatever input you are getting. It will the Apache Spark will process that data, and finally it can store a data into the different storage area also. Let's say you want to store it into the database, you want to store it to the cloud, you want to store it in different format also. Let's say you want to store it in the Parquet format, Avro format, CSV format. You tell me which format you want. Spark is ready for that. आप बोलो स्पार्क को, भाई मेरे को डेटा ओरेकल से उठाने का है, प्रोसेस करने का है, एंड फाइनली सेव करने का है. You might have heard the terminology is called ETL and ELT. Extract, transport, load. Extract, load, transform. This is what it is done by the Spark only. Why Spark is very famous in the market? Still, the people are talking about Spark because Spark is free of cost. Spark is much faster. Spark is definitely a faster than your Hadoop technologies. Spark is unified. Spark support multiple input, and Spark can write a data into the multiple format. Spark is also responsible for your batch processing and real-time processing. Now what is meant by batch? I'll tell you one example also. What is meant by batch processing? Like you might have a question like, can you tell me some of the examples related to the batch processing and real-time processing where Spark will come into the picture? So you might have a question, right? What is meant by batch processing and what is meant by real-time processing? Okay, we'll discuss about that. So Spark is, the Spark is very famous, The Spark support your batch processing also, and it support your real-time processing also. Spark support batch processing and real-time processing also. So what is meant by batch processing? For example, I want to know my daily sale report. So in that case, you are going to go with the batch processing. Daily sale report का मतलब क्या होता है? For example, अभी आज की तारीख है. For example, today's date is 18/06/2025. This is my current date. So how will I come to know the sale of this particular date, 18 June and 17 June, as soon as the day get complete, मतलब जैसे दिन खत्म हो जाएगा मेरे को पता चल जाएगा कि इतना सेल हुआ मेरा. So consider a situation that you have a e-commerce business. Consider a situation that you have e-commerce. E-commerce means like a Flipkart, Amazon. Let's take an example. I want to know that what is my daily sale. So as soon as 17 June is done, like 17 June, they will upload their CSV file. They will upload the CSV file like 17 June, 17 June CSV file. This is 18 June CSV file. This is 19 June CSV file. So what I will do, I will take 17 June CSV file after the day get ended, or maybe 17 June file, I will process it on next day, but after the day. So I am just waiting for this file. 17 June file I got. What I will do, by using Spark, I am going to process it. So I will check, okay, do you want in dashboard? Yeah, I want to see it in dashboard also. So 17 June, this sale is, let's say, 10 lakh. As soon as I get 18 June file, again I will process it by using Spark. Okay, 18 June we got 20 lakhs. 19 June again I will process by using Spark. Okay, this time we got the sale of 9 lakhs only. So basically every night I am getting a file. So night 8 p.m. we have decided that I will get a file. Every night 8 p.m. I will get a file. I will process it, and finally I am going to create some dashboard. So this is not immediate requirement. This is not immediate, na? Like today you are going to upload, and that sale report you will get it by tomorrow. It's not immediate. So that is a batch processing. That is a batch processing. Now what is meant by real time processing? Okay, what is meant by real time processing? What is meant by real time processing? Can you tell me, guys, what is meant by real time processing? Any example? The same example you can take, which is related to the credit card fraud. Tell me one thing, if there is a fraud which is happening with my credit card, are you going to get that report by tomorrow? Are yaar. The same example, if my credit card is getting swapped in US location, I should be notified on the same time only, right? On the same time. So this is somewhere the real time processing works. The example we have taken, credit card. You take an example of aeroplane. You take an example of stock market. These are all comes under the real time processing. Which stock is going up, which stock is going down, I should be getting notified on that time only. That is something we call real time processing. And both this processing, whether it is a batch processing, whether it is a batch processing, whether it is a real time processing, both are supported by Apache Spark only. Both are supported by Apache Spark. Till now, whatever we discuss, are you able to understand, everyone? Everyone. Till now, whatever we discuss, are you able to understand? Can you please use the chat option and let me know? Are you able to understand? Saket is saying yes, Prakash is saying yes, Ramesh is saying yes, Chetan is saying yes, Durgesh is saying yes. Good to see that everyone they good to see. Okay, good to see that everyone is able to understand. Rohit is saying yes. Madhav, Shraddha, Abdul, OnePlus. Great, great, great. Everyone is able to understand. Okay. So that is the reason I'm telling you this is something which is very, very important nowadays, that you should understand the technology of data engineers. Believe me, any technology which is related to the data, the technology which is related to the data is the future of your IT industry. Is the future of your IT industry. So now this Spark, the Spark which I told you, right? This Spark you can, the Spark which I told you. Now you might be definitely understanding that, okay, I want to understand about this Spark. Like how can I do that? So if you want to understand about this Spark, you can write down this Spark with multiple language. Spark is a framework which you can write down with Java also, Scala also, as well as you can use Python technology also. So last time when I was working with Citibank, that was my client. So we have written Java Spark, then that project ramped down and we started writing the same code into the Python. Scala, I didn't use that till now. So you can use Scala technology also. In this training, we are going to cover Java. No, in this training, we are going to cover PySpark. Python plus Spark, we call it as a PySpark. So Spark is a very good technology, no doubt in that. So I talked about everything which is really good about the Spark, but there is some problem also. I told you, right? What is the problem I told you with the Spark? The Spark does not have its own storage. See, whenever you are going to create a project, when you say that I want to create a project, the project is all about a multiple factor. जब आप project की बात करते हो ना, so you need DevOps technologies, you need high availability, you need a cluster. When you say that, okay, let's take an example. I'm a bank. I'm the bank CEO, and I want to know about the fraud detection, or let's say I want to target to the people who is having a very big bank balance so that I can sell them the credit card. This is my requirement. So I have a huge amount of data because people are doing so many transactions and I have that data. मेरे पास में डेटा है, मेरे को पता है कि लोग साला लाखों लोग करोड़ों रुपए खर्च कर रहे हैं, मेरे को उनका डेटा चाहिए, मेरे को उनका नाम चाहिए. So basically you need to process that na, you need to process that. So I called some of the data engineers and tell them that, boss, I'm giving you some raw data, just filter out some data and let me know the people who can take this credit card based on their transactions. See, the credit card people, the executives, the sales executive of credit card, they will only call the people who are already working and they have good package. So previously when I was not working, I never got a call from credit card. And now since I'm working, I'm daily getting a credit card calls because they know that how much balance is available in my bank account. Correct na? And now I'm not looking for any credit card also. So this is what happening with everyone. So this is the business, the person, the company who is having a huge amount of data. What is the role of data engineer? The role of data engineers is, if you have a huge amount of data, utilize that huge amount of data to increase your next business. I have a bank, I have a data of a lot of people, and I know that these people are making so many transactions. I will list out their name and I will call them, are you looking for a credit card? I will give them some of the bonuses, offers, and then they will take my credit card. That's the bank. That's the bank people are doing. That's the banks are always doing that. By checking your CIBIL score, automatically the credit card is coming to your bank account. In your net banking, automatically the credit card offer is coming, right? Because internally they are doing the data engineering kind of works. As soon as you watch Salman Khan movie, automatically the next movie of Salman Khan, it will show you in the Netflix, Amazon Prime. If you see any Hollywood movie, then automatically the next Hollywood movie, it will recommend you. How? That's the magic of data engineers. That's the magic of data engineers. देखा होगा ना आप लोग ने? That's the magic of data engineers. So basically, this data engineer, now when we talked about the data engineer earlier, we used to create a cluster. Like if you want to run the Spark code, you can do it on local also, but in real-time production environment, they create a cluster. Now what is meant by cluster? Cluster means multiple machines are working together, and we called it as a Spark cluster or Hadoop cluster, they used to call. This is my cluster. When my multiple machines are working together so that my work will be done very quickly, that's a cluster. But nowadays, like earlier, the client used to purchase a server, they used to install a required softwares like Spark software or Hadoop software, whatever they want. Nowadays, the things are becoming very easy because the founder of Spark, he himself has created one more new company because he understood the problem of Spark. He only gave it to the Apache community, boss. Okay, let's use it free of cost. And then he has found out a new company, we call it as a Databricks. Now this Databricks is in the collaboration with multiple cloud vendors. Like, you can, the first they started with Azure, then we have GCP, and then we have AWS is there. So right now we are focusing on Azure. So Azure services, Azure also have a lot of services now. Like, by using this Azure, you will get a cluster, you will get required resources. So Azure have a huge data centers throughout the world. So Azure is saying that, okay, I will give you resources. How much you need? Okay, I need 10 node. Okay, within a second you will get 10 node. What you are going to install on this 10 node? I want to install a software called Databricks. Okay, Databricks na. Who is the founder of Databricks? That other person. He is the second. So they have collaboration. They have done the collaboration. So Databricks is coming by the founder of Spark, and Azure is giving their security, high availability, computing power will be provided by the Azure. So they are now Azure plus Databricks. So nowadays we call it as Azure Data Engineer. Azure Data Engineer. Now these data engineers can be Azure Data Engineer, GCP Data Engineer, AWS Data Engineer. We are focusing on Azure Data Engineer because if you see, most of the projects which are related to the data engineers are in the Azure only. So with this training, what we are going to cover, we'll talk about that. But till now, whatever we discuss, are you able to understand, everyone? Everyone, whatever we discuss, are you able to understand? Till now, whatever we discuss, can you please use the chat option and let me know? Is it clear? Right? Good. People are like understanding very clearly. So many messages. Very nice. Very nice. Very nice. So if you understand the Apache Spark, you can easily understand the Databricks. Both are, you consider like it is equivalent only, same only. You will understand it. So if you want to become a data engineer, especially your Azure data engineer, if you want to start your career as a Azure data engineer, what you need? You might have questioned like, if I want to start a career as a Azure data engineer, what we need? Why we are becoming data engineer, that I told you already. So if you want to understand the Azure data engineer, first of all, you need to understand the Azure cloud fundamentals. That is very important because unless and until you don't understand the cloud fundamentals, unless and until you don't understand the cloud, what is cloud? Why we are using a cloud? What is the Azure cloud storage? अरे होता क्या है पहले वो तो समझना पड़ेगा ना. That is something which will come under Azure cloud fundamentals. We'll take care of it. Then most of the Azure data engineers, they need to understand about the SQL. SQL is one of the most important technology, especially the data engineers must be aware. And whenever you are going for an interview, the SQL is very, very important. So you should understand about the Windows function, analytical functions, joins, all the fundamentals of everything. We need to understand about that. That is SQL. Once you are comfortable with SQL, because since you are writing down this Spark code, or let's say you are talking about Databricks also. See, both are, I'm telling you, both are same. It's just like, Databricks you can use with cloud. So if you are talking about the Spark, you need to one language. That language is Python. So Python fundamentals also we are going to cover with this. Python fundamentals also we are going to cover. Python fundamentals. That's very, very important because if you don't understand Python, see, most of the programming will be in Spark only. But if you want to write down some functions, the fundamentals of Python is very, very important. So we are going to cover that. Then we are coming back to your data engineering services. Like, we need to understand about Databricks. Yeah, definitely, your most of the people, they will play with the Databricks only. Like when you are saying that, boss, I want to start my career as a data engineer, the Databricks and SQL, this is the magic. These two are key. And then definitely you are going to create some pipeline. Say, are you going to, let's say, I have a project, I have a project. So let's say I want to take the data from some sources. Like I have a data which is available in my Oracle. I have a data which is available in my Oracle, and I want to move that to my storage by doing some transformation. By doing some transformation. So for that, you need to create a pipeline, you need to debug a pipeline, and that is something which will be done by using a data factory. That is also coming under Azure services. So we are going to talk about the data factory related concept. Once you are done with this data factory, okay, yeah, someone suggested me we need to talk about the Linux also, because many times uh, you will be playing with the Linux operating system where you are going to create a directory, permissions. So these things is also important. So we are going to talk about this Linux also. Let me show you data factory and Linux. This is also very important. Once we are done with this, we need to understand about Synapse. We'll take care of it. Synapse. See, I need to do some analytical, like I want to do some analytical kind of functionalities. So where we will do that? In Synapse. We will take care of it. And the most important thing, once you are comfortable with everything, then finally we need to talk about the projects. So we will create different projects. See, again, anyway, with the training, we will do the projects also. But at the last also, we will configure a project in a such way that the same project you can explain in the interview, and you can grab the very good opportunity as a data engineer. So these are all things which will be covered throughout our training, and this training will be going for around 2.5 months, okay, or almost 3 months, you consider like that. So yeah, definitely, as of now in the current level, if you're asking me that who can start the career into the data engineers and what is the job openings available, okay, so that's very important. Okay, so if you go here, and if you just search it with, like, data engineer jobs, if you just search with data engineering jobs, you will see lot of jobs are coming for data engineers. Lot of jobs are coming. So if you see here, go to the Naukri, okay, and if you're just talking in Pune location also, na, in Pune itself we have 3521, and if I just add more cities, so if I just remove this city, if I just, because it has taken my current location, so if I use a data engineer, you see 23,000 are, see, currently you can see the Capgemini is hiring 2 weeks back, Infosys 1 day back, see it is looking for Spark. I was talking about this, right? So if you see here, so big data engineer means basically your data engineers only. Okay, you have data engineers here. So if you just open it, you will see a multiple tools and technologies which is mentioned here. Even the TCS is hiring, all TCS. Oh man, all these big giants are hiring. IBM and all these big giants. EY, that's a very famous company. Accenture 3 days back. Okay. Then we have Zorian, Python data engineers. So many companies are hiring for your data engineers. Okay. So 35,000 are jobs right now available for data engineers. Okay. So yeah, that's the important thing which I was talking about. Okay. So if you guys have any questions regarding the training, let me know. Okay, do we need hardcore coding? No. See, hardcore coding will be taken care. First thing, if you are Java developer, .NET developer, okay, that time you need to be very hard coder. Okay, but if you are asking me, do we need a coding, like at least mid level coding in this data engineer? Yes, in this data engineer, the coding is required. I'm not saying that the coding is not required, but yeah, but the level of coding, if you are saying like, okay, do we need, like, you need to write down a very huge code, not like that. If you compare it with the Java development now, no, not like that. Okay, so yeah, and those people who are thinking that I don't want coding at all, I don't want it, then you can start thinking about the database administration. So database administration does not require any coding. Okay, database administration does not require any coding, so for that, that's fine. Okay, that's fine. Okay, there is no problem in that. Okay, so yeah, if you guys have any question, you can unmute and you can ask the question regarding the training. You can ask the question, unmute themselves. Please ask the question regarding the training. If you have any questions, please unmute and you can ask the questions.
Hello, sir.
Yes, please.
I have one doubt.
Yeah.
Sir, companies are also required experience from us.
एक्सपीरियंस तो लगता ही है यार, हर जगह पे लगता है, लेकिन ऐसा नहीं है कि फ्रेशर को।
सर
यस प्लीज।
सर एक क्वेश्चन है। सर सिनाप्स की पढ़ना है सर, डेटाबेस में तो सर वेयर हाउस है एंड डेल्टा लेक है, फिर सिनाप्स की
सिनेप्स इसलिए क्योंकि अगर देखो वो भी चीज है एक्चुअली। ओके, एक्चुअली लास्ट टाइम आई वाज थिंकिंग लाइक नॉट टू टेक द सिनेप्स आल्सो, बट द थिंग इज everyone wants synapse whether you are using or not using synapse, you need. Okay, so that's the reason we are adding that.
नौकरी पे देखने पे हमेशा मतलब ज्यादातर
Fabric is the latest one. Okay, it's not still the op it's not still, the people are using still now. It's just a latest. Even if you open the Azure portal, okay, even if you open the Azure portal, you will see that they are promoting the fabrics now. Okay, but currently projects are not still on fabrics. Again, before I start talking about this training, I talked with multiple my colleagues, those who work with the multiple projects. Still the people are not there on fabrics, but yeah, that will be there in the future. Okay, that will be there in the future.
इस कोर्स में इंटरव्यू के बारे में इंटरव्यू गाइड।
So that's the reason what we are doing, the while we are taking this training, we will focus on a job interview. All the interview related questions we are going to explain in the class. Even after the class, if you have any questions and you don't know the answer, then you can reach out to our LearnerMate team. We will have a WhatsApp group, and there we can discuss about the interview questions and answers. So till the time you get place, we will have a continuous discussion about this training, about this process basically.
Okay, sir. Yeah, one question, Kush.
Yeah.
So as you said the components, the minimum things we should know, like Azure Cloud fundamentals, Python fundamentals, right? So if we are not much familiar with these Azure Cloud fundamentals, can we ready this course training?
No, I'm going to take care of this Azure fundamental. So whatever component I have explained there, we are going to take care in the class, I'm saying.
Okay.
So that is not like, I'm not saying that I will not take. I'm saying that I will take care of Azure fundamentals. The flow which I told you now, that is the flow we are going to follow in the class. So we will start with Azure fundamental first. We will not directly jump to the Azure Data Engineer.
Yeah.
So first of all, we'll talk about the cloud fundamentals. We'll talk about SQL. We will talk about Linux. Then we will talk about Spark, Databricks, Data Factory, Synapse, and the projects. Okay, that's the way we will go.
What is the difference between Azure Synapse and Microsoft Fabric?
The Microsoft Fabric is the latest one. Okay, so still we have not, even I have not checked that, but yeah, every time I see that.
It's a detail tool or
Which one?
Synapse and
Here we are doing all kind of ETL transformations only. Come up with the questions, guys, if you have anything related to the trainings. Yeah, so we are starting this batch very soon.
cover CI/CD
CI/CD pipeline. So we will not cover too in detail because that comes under the day ops, okay? But yeah, some in introductory session we will take. See, if you want a complete bunch now, then we need to cover GitHub and all those things also, okay? But introductory session we will cover that. We'll do that. Well, after completing this course, a person will be getting job. Can you come again? What you said? After completing this course, freshers can we get the job? So we have a lot of freshers in the current batch also. But currently, portals are showing only experienced people only. So that is a problem with all the jobs, not only in data engineers. Okay, if you see and if you understand the current IT market, there are some vacancies are available, but for fresher there is always suka pahad. You'll always see that. Okay, but it doesn't mean that we were not fresher. When we started as a fresher only ना, ऐसा थोड़ी कि एक ही दिन में मेरे को तेरे 13 साल का एक्सपीरियंस आ गया. So yeah, when you think that I want to start somewhere, you need to start the maybe it is a mid-scale company. When I started my career, I started with a very small company with 9,000 rupees, and that too very far away from my location. And but then I switched to the Cognizant. So if you are getting the opportunity with big giants company in the initial time, then you are very lucky. Especially like those who are 2026 pass out or 2025 pass out, they will have some offline off campuses will be there, so there you can give your try. Okay.
Sir, Anup here.
Yeah.
So wanted to know, with 50, I have close to 15 years of experience in the BPO with a non-tech background. I have never worked on IT side.
Acha.
So most of the thing is operations.
Acha.
BPO operations. So I want to switch in data side of the world because I have done my Lean Six Sigma Black Belt and Master Black Belt. So this field of data engineering and data science is, much more relevant now. तो अभी शिफ्ट करना सही रहेगा क्या? मतलब हम लोग का अपॉर्चुनिटी इंटरनली है ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में, बट थोड़ा सीखने और आप बेसिक अगर कवर करेंगे, अच्छा, लिनक्स का और एसक्यूएल का, so that is already the part of syllabus. That's what I'm saying. Okay. So I'm not directly, see, one more time I'm repeating, guys, I'm not directly jumping on data engineer. I will start with cloud fundamental, then SQL, then Linux, and then we will go to the data engineering concept. Okay, so we will not directly jump to the what is Databricks and data factory. We will not do like that. Okay, we start with fundamentals only because we have some pressures in this batch, so we'll start with fundamentals only. For example, sir, जैसा Python programming हमने कभी किया नहीं है, for example, तो उसमें भी थोड़ा सा नहीं क्या?
Python का भी हम लोग लेने वाले ना, बेसिक्स लेने वाले इसमें. हाँ, वो तो हो गए. So whatever I specified here over the screen, everything we are going to cover. This one. Okay, this one.
और सर ये अपना वीकडे पे रहेगा ना?
वीकडे बैच.
और बैच का टाइमिंग अपना 1
घंटा रहेगा. हाँ, नहीं 1 घंटा रहेगा डेली का. ओके.
ओके, ठीक है सर.
So those people who are interested now, please fill up this form, guys. There is a form mentioned in the.
सर ये बैच कब से स्टार्ट होने वाला है?
अभी आज ही तो पहला डेमो हुआ. 1 वीक में हो जाएगा मोस्ट प्रोबेबली. 1 वीक में. अभी
इवनिंग टाइमिंग में रहेगा ना सर?
इवनिंग का नहीं बोल सकता, मोस्टली मॉर्निंग में रहेगा. मोस्टली एक्चुअली हम लोग क्या सोच रहे हैं कि थोड़ा मॉर्निंग से स्टार्ट करेंगे एंड बाद में इसको शिफ्ट करवा देंगे इवनिंग में. एक्चुअली मेरा नाइट में अभी बैच चालू है एक, वो एक प्रॉब्लम है. तो देखते हैं उसको क्या करना है. अभी टाइमिंग का कुछ कंफर्म नहीं है. आप लोग फॉर्म फिलअप करो, देखते कुछ कर सकते उसमें. लेकिन बैच चालू होने के पहले आप लोग को टाइम पता चल जाएगा, कंफर्म टाइम.
What will be the role of CI/CD, DevOps, Kubernetes in data engineering?
See, CI/CD, that is a role comes under DevOps technology actually. Okay, and DevOps is used by everyone. Everyone. See, you want to do them. For example, let's take an example. You have written some code in development. Okay, so you have done your development and you have done it everything on your development. Now you want to do the testing. So obviously you want to take a copy of your code, your resources, your configuration files, and you will move it to the test. There you will do the testing. Once the testing is done, then again you are going to do it in production environment. So this pipeline, CI/CD, this process is basically your DevOps. Okay, so DevOps is the kind of technology which needs to be understood by every developer. Like, you take an example of my wife, she's a Java developer, she's having around 10 years of experience. So she also do a lot of DevOps related uh, work on daily basis, because you're responsible to do the uh, deployments, you are responsible to do the testing, so you are going to write down the test cases, so everything will comes under the DevOps. So yeah, but that is something, you can do it after the Azure Data Engineer. Like, once you are done with the data engineering, then it is a part of deployment. So deployment will be done by the DevOps people. But yeah, as a developer, you should be also aware about that. So what they are doing, okay? So they are talking about the Terraform if they want to do some automations and all. So if, even though you don't know, but you should have some basic understanding about that. Nowadays the expectations are very high actually in IT. Everyone should have every understanding. Okay. But before you go to the next level, first of all, your core technology should be strong. So your core technology is basically your data engineer. Once you are done with that, then automatically, once you start learning about, once you start doing the coding, once you start working as a data engineer, you will understand all this process. So DevOps is all about the process only. It's a process which is done by multiple people together, where your developers will be there, DevOps will be there, basically your operational people. They will work together. Okay. Okay. So yeah, guys, we are good to start with our data engineering training. Don't worry about that. We'll start from very basic. We'll start with fundamentals. And if you don't know about the Learnomate, so Learnomate you can check on our YouTube channel. So Learnomate is having around 1 lakh subscriber on the YouTube channel. We have 4.9 ratings on Google provided by 3000 plus people. So yeah, we are good to go. And thank you so much. If you have any questions, queries, anything, please reach out to the number which is available here. You can check our YouTube channel, and you can fill up the form also. Okay. So keep learning, and wherever you go, keep shining. Thank you so much, guys. Bye bye.